Hello guys, so we are going to continue the discussion with respect to statistics. In this video, we are going to discuss about type 1 and type 2 errors. Now till our previous videos, we have tested, we have done hypothesis testing with the help of Z-test, T-test, and then we also made some amazing conclusions with respect to the hypothesis testing, considering whether null hypothesis is true, whether we should accept it or whether we should reject it. So in reality, this is the thing, right? So see, over here I have written two important things, reality and decisions, okay? In reality, either the null hypothesis can be true or either the null hypothesis can be false. In decision wise, based on our hypothesis testing, we also find out either we have to accept the null hypothesis, so null hypothesis will be true, or null hypothesis is false. So in reality, this is the condition. In decision, when we are doing the hypothesis testing, either of one of them are correct. Okay. So let's go ahead and discuss about various outcomes that we may probably get. So let's say here I'm going to write outcome 1. Okay. Understand one thing, guys. In reality, when we say, we are just saying that the null hypothesis can be true or it can be false. And when we say with respect to decision, that is based on our result of hypothesis testing. So in outcome 1, we can basically write, we reject the null hypothesis. We reject the null hypothesis. Okay. When in reality, it is false. So what this sentence is saying? We reject the null hypothesis. This is from our hypothesis testing. When in reality it is false. Fine, that is good, right? If in reality it is false, we are rejecting the null hypothesis. So this scenario is obviously a good scenario, right? Now what about the other scenario over here with respect to outcome 2? Okay. Now in outcome 2, I'm writing over here, we reject the null hypothesis when in reality it is true. See guys, in reality it is true, but we are rejecting the null hypothesis. So obviously there is a problem, and this is basically an error, right? This is an error because in reality it is true, but for my hypothesis testing, I'm rejecting those null hypotheses. So this type of error is specifically called as type 1 error. Okay, type 1 error. This is super important because in machine learning, there is a topic which is called as confusion matrix. And there also we'll be using this. Confusion matrix is used to calculate the error, accuracy rate and all. Okay. So coming to the outcome 3 now. Outcome 3. Now in outcome 3, I can basically say we retain or accept the null hypothesis. We retain or accept the null hypothesis when in reality it is false. When in reality it is false. Okay. Now here when in reality it is true. It had to be true. Okay. I wrote when it is true. Okay. Now in this scenario, we retain the null hypothesis when in reality it is false. So in reality it is false, but from our hypothesis testing, we are saying that let's accept the null hypothesis. Then this is also an error. So this specific error, we say it as type 2 error. Type 2 error. Now coming to the outcome 4. Okay. I'm also going to repeat the outcome 2, guys, because I made one writing mistake. We reject the null hypothesis when in reality it is true. In reality it is true, but we are rejecting the null hypothesis. For this kind of error, we say it as type 1 error. Now in outcome 4, we retain the null hypothesis when in reality it is true. When in reality it is true. So this is correct, right? In reality, it is true. And from our hypothesis testing, we have accepted the null hypothesis. So this is also a good scenario, a correct scenario in short. Okay, correct scenario. So in this scenario, in both this scenario of outcome 2 and 3, we basically get errors, and these errors are basically called as type 1 and type 2 error. So this was about type 1 and type 2 errors. I hope you were able to understand. Now going forward, there are still many topics that we need to cover. Okay, we will be discussing about confidence intervals and all, how to create that range of confidence interval in the form of numbers. We are going to discuss about that. So yes, this was it from our side. I will see you all in the next video.